Hello, my dear. Come closer now and get cozy. Lay your head down, pull up that warm blanket, and just let my voice wrap around you like a soft hug. Tonight, I'm going to tell you a story, one that's followed me my whole life. It's a bit strange, a little mysterious, and, well, you'll have to decide for yourself if it's true or not. But either way, it's one of those stories that never quite leaves you. When I was a little girl, maybe around 10 or 11, we lived in a small countryside village. Back then, things were slower, quieter. You knew all your neighbors, and people stayed in the same place for decades. We didn't have much, but we had each other, and that meant everything. Our house was small and cozy, with ivy climbing up the front, and a creaky old gate that my dad always said he'd fix, but never did. And right next to us was the strangest house in the whole village. A crumbling, crooked little cottage with wild gardens, black cats, wind chimes made of bones. Yes, bones. And a woman named Miss Elspeth. Now Miss Elspeth, my love, was the reason people whispered in the streets and crossed to the other side of the road. She always wore long black dresses and a crooked hat, and she had these piercing green eyes that seemed to see right through you. No one ever saw her at church. She never went to the market, and yet, somehow, she always had everything she needed. The grown-ups called her odd, but us children, we were convinced she was a witch. Now, back then, I was a curious little thing. Not reckless, mind you, just full of questions. And one day, I got it into my head to find out the truth about Miss Elspeth. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was playing by the fence that separated our gardens when I saw her, bent over in her yard, talking to a crow, not shooing it away or feeding it, but talking. And the crow, it nodded. I swear, it nodded. I ran straight to my mom and told her what I'd seen. She gave me that look, you know the one, the don't go sticking your nose where it doesn't belong look. But that only made me more determined. The very next morning, I baked some biscuits. Well, I say baked, but I mostly just helped my mom and snuck a few chocolate chips. I wrapped a few up in a napkin and, heart pounding, walked right up to that crooked gate. It groaned as I pushed it open, and my feet crunched on the gravel path. Before I could knock, the door creaked open. "Come in, child," she said in a voice like wind through the trees. I froze. How did she know I was there? I stepped inside, and oh, my sweet one, the house was like something out of a storybook. Dried herbs hung from the ceiling. Crystals shimmered on the shelves. A black cat with one blue eye and one yellow eye blinked at me from the fireplace. And the smell, it was like cinnamon, smoke, and something old and earthy I couldn't place. Miss Elspeth looked at me with those sharp green eyes and smiled. "I've been expecting you," she said. Now, if I were smarter, maybe I would have run. But instead, I sat down at her little table, offered her the biscuits, and listened as she told me tales. Tales of forests and fairies, of curses and potions, of heartbreak and healing. She never said she was a witch, but she never said she wasn't. Over the years, we became friends, or something close to it. I'd bring her wildflowers and gossip from the village. She'd give me strange teas and whispered warnings. Once, when I had a fever, she gave my mum a jar of salve and told her to rub it on my chest with a chant. I was better by morning. People talked, of course, said I'd be cursed or worse, but I never felt scared around her. In fact, she felt safer than some of the so-called normal folks. Then one day she was gone. No goodbye, no note. just gone. Her cottage sat empty, slowly swallowed by vines, and nobody ever saw her again. To this day, I don't know who or what she truly was. Maybe she was just an old woman with a flair for the dramatic, or maybe, just maybe, there was magic in those green eyes. Now, my sweet child, here's what I want you to take from this. Sometimes the world is more than it seems. Sometimes people are too quick to judge what they don't understand. The strange, the quiet, the different, they're not always dangerous. In fact, they're often the ones with the kindest hearts. You might meet people in your life who others avoid, mock, or fear. Don't follow the crowd. Trust your heart. Look deeper. Some of the most wonderful souls I've ever met were wrapped in mystery. And if you ever feel like you are the one who doesn't quite fit in, remember, there's magic in that too. Now, was Miss Elspeth a witch? I'll let you decide. But one thing's for certain. She left a mark on my heart that's never faded. Before you drift off, let me ask you something gentle. If my stories ever bring you comfort, if my whispers feel like a hand to hold, would you consider subscribing? It's free, and it means the world to me. It lets me know you're out there, that these little bedtime visits matter. So tap that button, my love. And if you can, leave me a little comment. Tell me, do you believe in witches? Good night, my darling. Sleep tight, and remember, the world is full of wonders if only we're brave enough to see them.